All right, today we're diving deep into the second part of the Quran. We're going to explore some of the core principles that really shape, everything from our personal worship to family life and even our societal laws.
And for this whole breakdown, our main guide is the fantastic work Khulasatul Quran by the respected scholar Maulana Muhammad Ilyas Guman. So all the key points we're about to cover come straight from this excellent summary.
Okay, so here's a quick look at our roadmap. First, we'll talk about the Ummah's identity and the Qibla. Then, we'll get into the pillars of worship, fasting, and Hajj. After that, we'll touch on societal laws like retaliation and wills, and we'll wrap things up with family rulings on divorce and fosterage. Let's get started.
All right, so first up, the Ummah's identity, the Qibla. We're kicking things off by exploring the very heart of the Muslim community's identity, the Ummah, right? This global family of believers. And you know what? It all starts with a single, shared direction that unites millions and millions of people all over the world.
So, the Qibla, it's so much more than just a direction on a map. I mean, just think about it for a second. Millions of people all across the globe at all different times of the day, every single one of them turning their hearts and their faces towards one central point. It's this incredibly powerful living symbol of unity and shared purpose.
But here's a really interesting fact. It wasn't always this way. In the beginning, Muslims actually prayed towards Beit al-Maqdis in Jerusalem. The shift to the Kaaba in Mecca, well, that was a huge pivotal moment. It was what really established a distinct spiritual identity and a permanent center for the entire global Muslim community. And this verse right here, this is what made that change official. It's a direct divine command that totally cemented the Kaaba's role as the permanent Qibla. It's like the spiritual anchor for Muslims for all time. All right, let's move into our next section, the pillars of worship, fasting and Hajj. So we're shifting from this idea of collective identity to the really personal acts of devotion that define a believer's life. And we're talking about two massive ones here, fasting and Hajj.
This verse really sets the stage perfectly, doesn't it? It tells us straight up that fasting isn't some new thing. It's an ancient spiritual practice that came before. But the most important part, the real key, is right at the end, that you may become righteous. It's all about spiritual development.
So what exactly is fasting? Well, on the surface, sure, it's about not eating or drinking from dawn till sunset. But the real goal, the very soul of the practice, is to build taqwa. And taqwa is this deep, profound state of God consciousness. It's a kind of mindfulness of God that you're meant to carry with you in everything you do.
And have you ever wondered, why Ramadan specifically? Well, it's because Ramadan is the month when the Quran itself was first revealed. This connection is so important. It completely transforms the month into this huge celebration of divine guidance, and fasting becomes the central way we show our gratitude and devotion. Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about the other major pillar of worship here, the Hajj pilgrimage. Now, Hajj has many rituals, but these are the absolute non-negotiable essentials. If you miss even one of them, the Hajj is considered incomplete. It all starts with Ihram, that state of consecration. Then it peaks with the standing at Arafat. And of course, there's the crucial tawaf, the circumambulation of the Kaaba.
Next up, societal laws, retaliation, and wills. So we're kind of zooming out now, from these very personal acts of worship to the bigger principles that govern a healthy, just, and stable society. And we're going to look at two really key legal concepts here, Qisas and Wasiyat.
So let's start with Qisas. You often hear it translated as retaliation, but its real essence is all about justice and fairness. It's the principle that for physical harm, the punishment can be equal to the crime. But here's the thing. It's not just about punishment. It's about getting justice for the victim and, at the same time, creating a powerful reason for people in society not to commit violence.
And this verse is absolutely fascinating because it presents what sounds like a paradox, right? It says that in this law of retribution, there's the saving of life. So how does that work? Well, by making the consequences for murder so severe and so just, it actually stops potential criminals in their tracks, and that protects everyone. The bottom line is, it's a law of justice that's ultimately designed to preserve life.
All right, shifting from criminal justice over to financial matters, we have the Wasiyat, or the Islamic will. And it's so much more than just a dry legal document. Think of it as a person's final instructions on how a part of their wealth should be handled after they're gone. It's about settling your affairs, for sure, but also about letting your legacy continue through acts of goodness.
And what's really interesting here is that this ruling actually evolved. Originally, the will was the primary way you'd provide for your parents and relatives, but later, when the Quran laid out specific, mandatory shares of inheritance for those heirs, the will's purpose kind of shifted. It became this powerful tool to give up to 1/3 of your wealth to people not covered by that fixed inheritance. Think friends, charities, or any other noble cause you care about. Okay, let's move into our final section, family rulings on divorce and fosterage. Here we're really zooming in on the most intimate and foundational part of society, the family. We're going to look at guidance on some tough issues like divorce, and also the really unique concept of fosterage.
So while divorce is permitted, the system that's described here is really designed with reconciliation as a priority. A husband can issue a revocable divorce not just once, but twice. What this does is it creates a kind of cooling off period. It gives the couple a chance to step back, reconsider, and maybe even get back together without having to go through a whole new marriage contract. It really shows how much the family unit is valued.
Next, we have this concept of fosterage, or suckling. This is all about the special bond that's created when a woman breastfeeds a child who isn't her own. And this act, it goes way beyond just providing nutrition. It actually establishes a sacred family-like relationship that has real-world consequences. And the Quran even provides specific guidance on the timing here. The recommended period for a mother to breastfeed her child, if she decides to complete the full term, is 2 whole years. This really highlights the importance that's placed on the nourishment and the bonding of a child in those crucial early years.
And this is where you see the full legal and social impact of fosterage. The child who is breastfed becomes a milk child to that woman, which creates this permanent bond of kinship. This means that the exact same rules about who you can and cannot marry that apply to your blood relatives, well, they now apply to this new foster family too. They are treated just like one's own family.
So as we start to wrap this up, we're left with a pretty powerful question to think about. From a single point of unity for the entire globe to the detailed laws that govern our money and our family ties, how do these principles, revealed over 1,400 years ago, still offer guidance and structure to millions and millions of lives today? It's definitely something to reflect on.
And just so you know, this explainer was put together by the team here at Ummah 360. And just to remind you, everything we talked about today was based on the book Khulasatul Quran by Maulana Muhammad Ilyas Goman. So if any of this sparks your interest, I really recommend digging deeper into the source yourself. Thanks so much for joining us.